Hello, hello. Brent back with you with another edition of Near Mint Musings. Today, I am going to showcase my top 10 vintage pickups of this past year, 2019. I'm going to say it's been a very fun, exciting, good year for vintage pickups. This being my first year to foray into the world of YouTube has really opened my eyes to a lot of different options and cards that I didn't even know existed previously to this year. So I am super excited to show off some of these cards. These cards are not ranked at all monetarily, value-wise, grade-wise. They are strictly being presented in impact to my personal collections, sentimentality, or just they move me, man. So without further ado, I'm gonna jump right into these. So starting off at number 10 is a 1955 Topps Humberto Robinson. If you've seen some of my previous videos, you would have seen this on my Panama Spotlight. This was the first Panamanian player to make it into the big leagues. My wife is Panamanian, and obviously my extended family on her side is as well. So Panama plays a big role in my household. So just love the beautiful card of Humberto Robinson's rookie card. It comes in at number 10. Number 9 is a 1939 play ball Al Schacht. Now, you obviously can't tell by the picture, but he played for the Washington Senators. And if you haven't read about Al and his story, I highly suggest you do so. I'm going to hold this up here real quick. Sorry about the glare. Basically, he was a player that had to convince the Washington Senators to pick him. And he really wasn't that good. He has some decent minor league numbers, but he ended up getting hurt, became a coach, and became more of an entertainer. He was a clown and would go to different stadiums and put on shows for the crowds before and after games, and then resume his role as a coach. And he was with the Washington Senators for years and years and years. And I just love, love, love this picture of him doing his thing. That comes in at number 9. Staying on the Washington Senators tip, another card that you would have seen recently in one of my spotlights. This is my Aussie Blue Jay Gowdy on card autograph. Just a gorgeous, beautiful card. What a great signature. It looks like it just came out the card, right? So really excited to pick up this card of Mr. Blue Jay, another Washington Senators foundational player that stayed with them throughout the organization. Besides just being a player, was a coach, a manager, and then in charge of their farm team. All right, so coming in at number 7, gotta have a killer in here. One of my absolute favorite Harmon Killebrew cards is this one right here, the 1967 Twin Terrors with his good friend Bob Allison. They started on the team about the same time and became good friends and was friends throughout both of their careers. And Harmon recalled his time with Bob very fondly in many of his interviews. This is just a great card. I had this raw and decided I needed to get it graded, and just a really, really cool card. Bob Allison, Harmon Killebrew. Coming in at number 6 is another card that I showed off in a previous video. This is the 1910 T12 Obach of Harry Osadiek. He played for the Spokane Indians in the Northwest League. This is one of those cards that I would have never known existed if it weren't for the YouTube community. Bowman 1953 did a spotlight on the T12 Obachs, and I fell in love with them. I have 3, soon to be 4 of them that are showcasing the early days of baseball in the Pacific Northwest. Beautiful card. Just look at that. Love that deep, deep color. What a great card. Number 5. Excuse me, number 6. Number 5 is a 1919 to 1921 W514 Clark Griffith. Now, I've already mentioned a couple of players, but this was, of anybody in the Washington Senators organization that has probably meant the most to the team, it's probably Clark Griffith. Started as a player, then became a coach, then became a manager, then became their owner, named the field after him. He is one of the, if not the most influential person in Washington Senators history, and a Hall of Famer. Blank back. 1919 to 21. Great card of Clark. All right, number 4. We are going back in time to the year 1887. Old Judge Jim Donnelly of the Washington Senators. Just look at that. Banged up on back, but you know what? Look at the front though. Besides that crease up at the top, this card's from 1887. Just love this picture. By far the oldest card in my collection. Just super stoked to pick up a card not only this old in this condition, but also representing the Washington Senators. Love it. Number 4. For my number 3 card, this was one that I showed off in my very first introduction video, and is a card that I have wanted ever since I became a Harmon Killebrew collector. This is the 1955 Topps doubleheader Harmon Killebrew Johnny Padres. If you're not familiar with these cards, I'll flip it over and they'll make a little more sense. They are just exactly that. You flip this over, and the first half of him meshes up with those legs, and you can have 2 players for the price of 1. What's great about this card is there really isn't that crease right there that comes with a lot of these cards. These cards are very hard to find without that, and if you do, they get really pricey really quick. So this is his rookie year as well. So this is technically a rookie card. Just a gorgeous card. Look at that. 1955 Topps doubleheader, Harmon Killebrew. All right, now for my last 2, I have not shown these off yet. One I just recently got as a Christmas present for myself, and the other one I've had for about a month and wanted to wait till I got the Christmas present card to show them off together. And I figured I gotta just include them in this top 10 because they are by far the top 2 cards in my collection. As you can tell by now, Washington Senators mean a lot to me in my collection as a Minnesota Twins guy. So if you're going to go for it, you're going to go for this guy, right? 1922 Nielsen Chocolates, Walter Johnson with a type 1. Look at that. Playing Days, Walter Johnson. The reason it's called type 1 is because of the font on the back. Type 2 has a kind of a non-calligraphy, more of a regular script. This one is the Type 1. I've read it's harder to get, especially in decent condition. Just a fantastic looking card of, in my humble opinion, the best pitcher to ever play the game. This picture of Walter Johnson was used in many different cards. It's a very familiar pose to many of you. I just love this gorgeous card. 1922 Nielsen's Chocolate, Walter Johnson. Super stoked to have that card. I'm actually going to put him back here because this number 1 card needs some room. All right, so here's my Christmas present, yo. This is a card I have wanted for the longest time. And I've seen other collectors on YouTube showcase similar cards. I think Nuff Said has shown a couple. And I found one that was at a price that was not bank breakable. And I went for it. So we have here a 1913 Fatima T200 Washington Senators. As you can see right in the middle top, Mr. Walter Johnson. Right below Walter Johnson is Clark Griffith, who I showed earlier. Walter Johnson had been with the team for about 5 years. These are really thin pieces of paper. So if you look closely, you can see some wear and wrinkles, but for the most part, just fantastic condition. I mean, just look at this. I've stared at this card for hours, and I just get lost in it. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous card. Couldn't be happier to have this in my collection. 1913 Fatima, Washington Senators. That is my number 1 card of 2019. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time to join me on this pickup recap of 2019. And I appreciate all of you for tuning in. Your friendships, your subscriptions, your comments are always welcome. And I appreciate each and every one of you and wish you nothing but the best and an absolute happy new year. And here's to a great 2020. Thanks, everyone.